Finally got I always wanted the Yeti with this damn handle.
Oh, really?
Don't know why. Just wanted it, and it's
Oh,
everything I thought it was.
it's only good in the house. Like you can't take it in the car because it doesn't fit.
They have a 32-ounce one now with a handle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's little fits in your car then.
Yeah, I'm kind of addicted to these Yeti things. It's stupid.
Well, are we recording? Because this is good stuff.
Okay.
We should just go live.
Live on Facebook with Johnny and the Greg. And go. We're live. Not yet. Hasn't popped up yet. Hasn't popped up. Oh, preparing. Here we go.
Now
we are live. Okay. Welcome to Johnny and the Greg Monday edition. I hope everybody had a fantastic holiday weekend like myself.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, why don't you tell the audience about our nice little partnership we got going on with Audible?
We do have a partnership with Audible.
We do.
It's great. I mean, if you're on the go, if you're kind of one of these work from home and are able to just put stuff in your ears, you know what? Even when I was in a cubicle for 8 hours a day plus, I would just put in earbuds or a headset or something, and I could literally tune out the rest of the office bullshit that was going on around me and just listen to an audiobook or a podcast or whatever. You know, I would put a sign on the back of my chair that said, "I can't hear you. Tap on my shoulder if you need anything."
Oh, okay.
Or I'd put a sign that says, "I'm working. Please don't bother me right now."
Right.
Like I needed to just focus time. So I would put on a big headset and I would turn on Audible and I would listen to whatever book or podcast or whatever I was getting into at the time as I was working. And you could do that too. We have a partnership for a free 30-day free month of Audible pretty much on us. And if you do that, you click on or go to audibletrial.com /JATG and you sign up and you get 30 days. Any books that you buy are yours to keep. So even after the 30 days is up, if you go, I don't want to keep my subscription going with Audible, that's fine. The books you got during that time are yours forever and a day. I mean, you can listen to them whenever you want over and over again. If you keep it going, that's on you, but we'll get you 30 days for free. And like I said, you could do that by going to audibletrial.com /JATG.
All right. So, folks, just to keep you hanging there, we're going to talk a little bit about sports in the beginning, but we are going to talk about the Rings of Power. Is it Rings of Power or Ring of Power?
No, rings. It's all about the rings.
Okay, Rings of Power. So you guys are going to have to hang in there. Okay, so just hang in there for a little bit because part of Labor Day weekend is college football, and God bless it, it's back. And it was fun. Some incredible games, some blowouts, some unbelievable endings. And I had a blast drinking it all in with my new Yeti. I was telling Greg, I always wanted the one with these little dinky handles. I don't know why, just wanted one.
And as much as I mean, I've got a couple Yetis myself. And
is there anybody out there that has one?
Probably not. I mean, I
don't think so. I have
when I got into the Yeti game, I think I instantly picked up 4. It was a promotional kind of thing that I was able to.
Oh, you got
get in and
okay,
and I got like 4 or 5. Because I knew my wife wanted one, and I knew there would always you'd be looking around for it, be like, "Where's my Yeti?" And it's dirty, and so rather than wash it, you just pick up one of the other ones. So I've got a couple of those, but there are Yeti has become like this subculture. You got to have the Yeti cooler, you got to have the Yeti cup, you got to have the Yeti sticker on your Jeep, kind of stuff like that. And I'm like, that part, I'm like, guys, there are other brands. It's not like a Yeti is the only one doing it can keep stuff cold for however many 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever. It's like, other ones can do that.
But are they bear proof?
I don't know. But I mean, I have my Adidas big bottle that I got from Kohl's. But I still have the giant Yeti sticker on it because I gotta put other stickers on it because you gotta put stickers on your bottle. So my favorite one is actually from Studio Desaad, who is if you go to studiodesad.com, they're not sponsored or anything, but Nigel's just a cool guy. He gave me a sticker. It says "Be kind for fuck's sake." So I love that one.
Yeah, that is cool. So the Badgers wasn't exciting after he ran the 100. I'm a Badger fan.
Yeah.
After he ran the 100 and well, no, he ran a 91 yard, 97 yard run. I was like,
yard return.
Okay, they're gonna kill these people.
They did, and they absolutely did. The score ended up being 38-0. But
and they should kill them.
But here's
Illinois
where
State.
I was like, oh my gosh. I partially listened to the game, and I got to watch a little bit of the game. But a guy that I know played for the Badgers. I'm going to guess like 20 years ago. So I saw him on Sunday, and I was like, "Hey, dude, you watched the game?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did." I said, "It baffles me that, Badger football. We're over 100 years, I believe, into Badger football. They've been playing football for over 100 years.
Right.
Not once has someone had a 97-yard.
Oh, really?
That's the record. They set the record on Saturday for the longest run ever in Badger football history.
Huh.
And it's just one of those records that you go, really? No one's done that yet?
Yeah.
And
considering how often we run the football. Yeah.
Yeah. And considering how often, you and I in our lifetimes have witnessed some amazing,
great running backs.
Yeah.
Great running games, great offensive linemen.
Yeah. Coming out of Wisconsin. In fact, that is kind of what they're known for now.
Yes.
And you go, no one's ever taken the ball coast to coast. And they have, but it was never that deep in the end zone to go to the other end zone. So you go, really? Ever? And I was just baffled that was the case. So that was my thing where it was a good game to watch. Always fun to see when the good guys crush the bad guys.
Whatever good guy you're rooting for.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Who's ever your good guy. Yeah.
And so but then when he heard about that run, and it was funny because that part I was listening to. I was sitting in a parking lot. And so it happened. And my wife and daughter were coming out of the grocery store. And I guess they saw me like get excited in the car. Yeah. Because as it happened, I was like, oh, kind of doing that.
Run.
Yep. And me and like a guy like 3 stalls down, we must have been listening to the same game because he was kind of like doing the same thing. Yeah. And my youngest gets in the car and she's like, "Why were you fist pumping in the car?" I'm like, "Oh, the Badgers just had this great play." And then whereas we're pulling it out of the parking lot, I'm like, doesn't it baffle you that over 100 years of football, no one's ever had a 97-yard run? And it was crickets in the car. They're just like,
whatever, Dad.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's good. I was like, okay, I got to talk to my people on this one.
The Ohio State Notre Dame game was really good up until the fourth quarter.
I didn't catch that one.
Then Ohio State pulled away.
Really?
But anyway, they hung in there. LSU, Florida State yesterday. Oh, what a heartbreaker. They go 99 yards for the tying score, and the kick gets blocked. That sucks. But hey,
and I think now they're going after the coach.
Which is a little unfair. It's a little.
And I go, come on, he marched you guys down the field.
Well, not only it's his first game.
Yeah.
They could win the next 11 in a row. You don't know. It's one game.
I'm really I'm going to make an effort this year, and I'll see how well I do, because really, I only really follow Big Ten. That's kind of
that's what I'd like to follow.
My flaw in college football is I know there's other conferences out there. On the SEC and all those other ones, but I'm just like, I watch Big Ten football. And I think partially because that's what they play in my area.
Yes.
I've got to search to find other ones. Yeah. But I did watch Michigan looked real good yesterday.
Who did they play?
Michigan played Colorado State.
Yeah.
And and they should have looked good.
They looked like Colorado. A Big Ten team.
But oh my gosh, they were it was 51-7, which yes is a blowout, but just to watch how these kids were playing, you're just like, man, it's just ridiculous. So and I don't know why, but Michigan was the team that I was raised to hate.
Really?
Which is weird. Kinda, yeah.
That's weird.
I don't
remember Wisconsin and Michigan having it's always Wisconsin, Iowa, isn't it?
Well,
Isn't it always
A
them?
little bit. Not for me. The Gophers, Michigan,
Ah,
not
yes,
Michigan.
with
I'm
the
sorry,
ball, the Paul
Minnesota.
Bunyan X. Yes,
Paul Bunyan X.
Minnesota. Yes,
That's the
yes.
Golden Gophers. That's a rivalry that I'm like, okay, I don't necessarily hate them, but for some reason, yeah, Michigan was like, I don't know. My dad had something against Michigan. I think he
Really?
was just,
Okay.
and I don't know why. But that was the team I think I was raised to hate. And then just through life experience, I think like the entire Big Ten just gets behind the hate of Ohio. Like that was the
Yeah, I think everybody hates Ohio State.
yeah,
now.
everybody could be like, we don't care as long as we
Yeah.
don't lose as bad to Ohio.
Well, I got some good news for you. If you're a Big Ten guy, it's probably going to be the Big Ten and the SEC that are the conferences moving forward. There will probably be, that'll probably be, if you want to break it down in NFL terms, the NFC and the AFC. The way everybody's joining those two conferences.
Yeah.
I mean, we got people from Oregon. Oregon put in a bid to join the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Because I think what UCLA wanted to get in there.
And when all that was
USC, am I right with that? USC also wanted to get in too.
Yeah, I remember when all that was happening. I asked you, I'm like, "What is going on?" You're like, "It's all
yeah,
man."
Yeah, they're all combining it just for one big conference.
Yeah,
yeah. So, the NFL officially starts next week. I'm excited as everybody is because everybody is starting from the exact same point, and we'll see where it all ends up.
Yeah.
But because football is in the air, it is now my time to give everybody that listens to me my yearly public service announcement. You'll know what I'm talking about in a minute, Greg. Johnny Angel does not give a damn about your fantasy team. So all of my friends who want to call me for advice, all of my friends who want to have me join a league, all of my friends that just want to tell me their rosters, where they got them, how they got them, and how they're going to use them. I don't care. I can't emphasize that enough to the point where I get mad about it. I don't care. It's the equivalent, Greg, of me calling you up and letting you know how good I did in a Madden game.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
So stop, all of you. I don't care. I don't care. And I'm talking to several people who still call me and ask me if I want to join their league. They still call me and tell me, "Hey man, who should I start? Who should I start this week? It's your team. You do the research."
Yeah.
Fuck off. That's how I feel about it. So
no,
I don't care. Stop it. Leave me alone. I don't care. If you guys want to talk about real football, I am on board. But the minute you tell me about, I just hope they do well because I have him on fantasy, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Don't talk to me about that. Sorry. I get so mad at this. It happens to me every year and I get sick of it.
It's such like a bit. I mean, there are guys literally winning like over $1 million. In football.
I mean, it's definitely money. There's definitely money.
It became kind of like a big thing. But what I laugh at, and this is the nerd in me coming out, is like the fantasy football guys don't understand like the Magic the Gathering or the Pokemon players or any of those other like, I mean, and like it's the same fucking thing. You're trading, what are essentially fictional players because you don't know these guys. I mean, they might as well be on a card to you, but they're on a computer screen. You're looking at stats, you're trading them to build your team, and then you're playing somebody else who has done the exact same thing. It's the same as deck building card games. It really is.
I don't think it is.
Why not?
The only reason I say that is because it's
the only thing is it's ever changing.
Does Magic the Gathering have anything like a rolling of the dice or anything like that?
No, there's no chance at all. It's just how you build your deck and then you shuffle your deck and then they come out.
There's chance in fantasy. Your guy could get injured. Your guy a lot of it.
There's live updates. I mean, I understand that piece of it, but
that's I think it's everybody playing general manager.
It is, which is it's all gaming. It's all role playing. It's all gaming. It's all.
If you gave me Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy football, I'd be more understanding. The Gathering, that to me, that's like that's trading cards, but they don't trade cards.
No, it's you're strategically building a deck to face someone else's deck.
Okay. All right.
And that's
by deck he means roster people.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. I mean, and that's
Okay.
So yeah, I don't play fantasy either. I've never been that much of a football stats guy
Well,
that I
I
would.
think it's kind of crazy when like you're like, hey guy, you're like, do you want to get the family together for a barbecue? Ah, no, man, that's my fantasy night. What?
Yeah.
Like that, I don't understand actually canceling plans with somebody so you can go draft players. I don't get that. I don't get that. But millions of people do it. Millions of people throw parties to do it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a big deal. Fine. I actually that's cool. If you guys want to do that, I think everybody should have their own thing. I don't care if you have a great time playing fantasy football. I just don't think it's part of dinner conversation.
I
I don't
eh,
think it's part of
mm,
water cooler
yeah.
conversation. To me, for me, don't talk to about it with me.
Well, it's the same thing of like I can't go talk about our D&D nights with just anybody. Like
Yes.
I can't start off my weekly work meeting with, oh guys, we had such a great D&D night
Right.
the other night. We
Right.
we were going after these like group of wizards and they almost killed us all. They're like, we don't care.
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah. So that's it. I know I do this every year. I'm going to have to do it again next year because
yeah.
they never stop. So,
I don't know. I understand. I mean, I know there's fantasy, there's other fantasy leagues. There's fantasy baseball, fantasy basketball. Like it covers other sports, but football seems the one that people are just so rabid about.
yeah, you're absolutely right.
And canceling family plans or canceling, things like of that
Yes.
nature.
I can't believe that. Or it's like,
So,
hey, yeah, I can do that, but I'm going to need to leave when they're drafting because I have to be on the phone and draft my players.
yeah.
I'm like, are
To
you fucking kidding me, dude?
to me,
We're talking about
there's no hobby that should trump like a major life event or that you can't cancel to do a thing.
I
I get
agree.
that.
I agree.
I feel the same way about like hunters, and I feel the same way about gamers. Like you shouldn't skip a wedding because it's deer season or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You
I
shouldn't
agree.
skip
I
a
agree with
wedding
that.
because you're like, oh, it's D&D night. I can't do it. You
Yeah,
know, that's
exactly.
that's not good to
I
me.
agree.
To
I
me,
to me too. And I know there's some people that are thinking right now, whoa, you guys are dead wrong. I need to do this. Like, okay, that's you.
yeah,
I feel that I think you're right. Like those there, like you said, there's no hobby that needs to
yeah,
usurp like
it's okay, but
family
at the
stuff.
same time, I'd be like, no, you don't. Like
Yeah,
you don't have to. You don't have
right.
to.
Yeah. So all right. Rings of
So,
power, my friend.
oh yeah,
What'd
there's
you
a little.
think? Isn't this is Amazon's most expensive
Yeah, well, I think it is the most expensive
show
series
ever?
ever. I think
Is it a
that's
show or a series? Like what? I don't know how to
well, it's a
describe this
show. It's
anymore.
a
It's a
show. I
show.
mean,
It's a
there,
TV show, right?
yeah, it is a streaming television show because they
Okay.
don't have like a channel. But
Yeah.
what I found interesting, and this has all come out like I thought this was all based on writings from like the Silmarillion, which was Tolkien's like it wasn't his first novel, but it was like when he wanted to complete his world building.
Mhm.
This is what it was, and it's not. I thought they had the rights to that, and Amazon doesn't have the rights to that. So when we're looking, like, there's some gaps going on because what Amazon owns is the rights to the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, and they're building this show off of the addendums that were written for those novels and then one book that was partially written by Tolkien and was finished
All right.
by his
Right?
son. Yeah. And that's what Amazon owns. And so there's going to be some changes. There's going to be some, I think, roundabout ways to getting to certain things that they're just going to have to creatively do.
Right.
So the purists, the Tolkien purists are like, oh, nah, no, this is not following whatever it is. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Like, just make a good show. So
Yeah. And okay, before you go, I think it's really good. Like Ursula and I were watching it and we were really into it. I thought at first the world building would slow me down, but I like bore me, but I
mhm.
I really liked the first two episodes. I had no issue with them. Um my only problem is I feel like I and I don't know, maybe we're gonna see it. I don't know. I would like to see how like Sauron like does his thing. I
Well,
always feel like Sauron is the shadow in
yeah.
the background that we never really get to grasp. We never really
Mhm.
get to see him manipulate or whatever. Or maybe we will. I don't know though, but that's what I feel.
Yeah.
What
Hold
about
on,
you?
I'm replying to a comment, so riff for a little bit.
Okay. The one thing that I'm actually thinking about with that show is, who is the guy that came out of the comment? Is that a
The
wizard?
stranger.
Yeah. Is that
I think it could be.
okay, but is it a wizard we know, or is it the beginning of the wizards?
I don't know.
Okay,
That I
yeah.
don't know.
I don't think anybody knows.
My instinct is that it's Gandalf. It's like
Right.
one of the first incarnations of Gandalf.
Okay.
But
My
I
only
don't know.
thought was, is it Sauron? Like, is he
No,
going to make it look like he's
I
a
don't
good
think
guy?
so.
Wasn't he the great deceiver?
Yes, but I thought that we had seen Sauron in like in his more elven form in one of the previews, where he's just like, he's a very almost angelic looking beautiful elf with very
Yes.
hard menacing looking eyes. I thought that was who was Sauron.
Okay.
But so in that case, I don't know.
Okay.
Honestly, my take on it, I dozed off in the first episode.
No shit. You didn't like it.
I did. It's not that I didn't like it, but there just wasn't a lot going on. Like, and it was, I didn't doze off for like half of it. It was probably 5 minutes. Like I had to go back and rewatch the entire scene, the last scene with her on the ship, with Galadriel on the ship. Because I was like,
by the way, I love her.
Where she was getting on the ship, and next thing I know, she's in the water, and I'm like, I missed something. And my kids, I've got one daughter who will just, like, if I doze off, like if I get to this position on the couch, I'm gonna be out soon. It's a dad thing. And I get one little dad, you're snoring. I know. And so I had to go back and rewatch it. But the second episode, a little bit more interesting for me, a little bit more action. I love that they are not doing CGI orcs. Like, they are dudes in makeup.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very big downfall for The Hobbit for me, was when the orcs were CGI.
Yeah.
It just took away so much from me.
Right.
And this is like my kids all of a sudden got the bug. It started with my oldest, who was being made fun of at work for being a child of geekdom and having never watched Lord of the Rings. And so we watched all the extended versions. And then she's like, well, now we got to watch The Hobbit. So even before I logged on tonight, they had started The Hobbit.
The Hobbit. Okay.
Yep. The first unexpected journey of the Hobbits. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it right now. I'm still into it. I still want to watch it. I still have high hopes for it. But for me, the action was a little lacking in the first two episodes, but that could have been anything. Like, there are other great shows out there where you're like, well, are we going to pick up the pace here? And then those shows run for 10 seasons and win multiple awards. So
yeah. I had a question with that, because Ursula was like, okay, let's watch episode 3. I'm like, can't do that. She goes, why? I go, they're releasing them every Friday. Right?
Yeah, it's a one a week kind of thing.
So that brought up an interesting question that we discussed, Ursula and I. Do you, and I'm throwing it out there to the Greg, and I'm throwing it out there to our audience. Do you guys like, you just get to all the episodes drop in one day, or do you like it how it is an episode every week, like how Loki did it, or how the Marvel TV shows are doing it, and how Amazon's doing this, or do you like it how Jack Reacher was? There's Jack Reacher, all of them, go. Which one do you like, Greg? Which one do you like? Do you like?
Again, I'm responding to a comment.
What are they saying?
Well, Sarah, Sarah is Mark's daughter from our D&D group. She said, like, we were talking about The Hobbit, and The Hobbit, they filmed in that ultra HD kind of way. So, like, I remember sitting in the theater, and it was like you're watching a play. And that's actually what I'm typing right now. And it took me out of the film. Like, I didn't feel like I was
watching a play.
Yeah, no. I'm watching The Hobbit. Like, I'm in the theater.
Yeah.
Ultra big screen, high def, big thing. And everybody looked so lifelike that it took me, I'm like, am I watching a movie? Because it looks like someone snuck a camera into a stage play and hit record.
Oh, okay.
And that's where I'm like, this doesn't have that Lord of the Rings feel to me. I don't feel like I've been transported to another world. I feel like I'm seeing a bunch of actors in full costume on stage, and then if I be like, "Hey, speak louder," they're gonna go shh, because that's how real they look.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so that was my kind of piece on the comment that Sarah made there. And what was your question? I'm sorry.
I forgot my question was.
Okay.
But I
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Binge watching versus the one a week.
Yeah.
You know what? Think I like the binge watching now because I mean, I was a cord cutter for multiple years before Spectrum and their bullshit had like made me get a cable box again and pay for their cable package so I could have a fast internet connection. And so I got so far away from watching TV like one episode at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, go ahead, drop the whole show. I'm not going to be one of these people that watches a whole season in a day. We'll watch one episode a night or every other night or whatever until we're done. And I like that. I kind of do like being able to say, okay, how many episodes we got? 10. Okay, how are we going to break that up? Are we going to do one every couple days? Do you want to just go on the sprint and watch 2 a night for 5 days? What do you want to do here?
Yeah.
And kind of plan my entertainment around that model.
Okay. I prefer the it drops every week. Like Gwen calls Thursday night She-Hulk night. She's like, Is this She-Hulk? Is this She-Hulk night? Because she loves She-Hulk. I don't know why, but
it's a fun show. It's funny show.
No, I mean it's fun, but I don't know how a 4-year-old likes it. That's not what I mean.
Okay.
Like it's not very, I don't know. It's
big green Amazonian princess on the screen. What
I don't feel like you see her a lot. Actually, I mean, you saw the first episode. I get that it was the Hulk.
It was a half-hour episode. You see her. Yeah. I think you see her on screen enough.
Yeah, but anyway, she likes that. And when it was Wednesdays, and it was the Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
It was Mandalorian Wednesday, and we like that. And then we kind of like build we kind of turn it into an event.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And instead of just like, hey, it's Tuesday or hey, it's Sunday at 3:00. Let's watch this. Hey, it's Thursday night at 8 p.m. Let's watch part 2 of that.
Yeah,
there seems to be a gap, but I like I think it's because I think it feels old school to me. It feels like how every Thursday night when we were in high school and college, it was like you got to go watch Channel 5 or NBC because NBC had like Seinfeld, Friends, and
correct. I think the difference there is as for this generation, if miss She-Hulk on Thursday night at 7, it's okay. You can watch it the next night. Where growing up, like if you missed Seinfeld and you're missing out. Like the next day at school when everybody's talking about Seinfeld, you're going, I had to work.
Oh, I didn't see it. Yeah.
So I didn't see it. And that's true story. Because when I worked at the video store, Thursday nights was my night. And so I missed a lot of those shows because I had to work and there was no going back. Like I couldn't figure it out later. So, I mean, that was, I think now with the once a week things, I would like them to drop all of it. I understand why they're not, but I like that it just means I watch it the next night.
Do you know how many episodes are actually dropping?
Of She-Hulk?
No.
Or of any show?
Rings of Power. Rings of
Power. No, I don't know Rings of Power, but that's a quick Google search away. I mean, that's the kind of thing where what I don't like is that it's always like even tonight, like we're looking for something to watch on a Monday night.
Yeah.
And Krista's like, what about She-Hulk? And we're like, sweetie, that only comes up on Thursdays. Like it's one a week. And she's like, oh. So we have that kind of effect where it's like, what's all out there at once? What's all a once a week kind of thing? The Disney Plus shows have always been one a week. Amazon's just been hit and miss on how they release. But
Holy shit! It's only 8 episodes. Rings of Power.
okay, well, at least they're an hour a piece. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the
that's
other
true.
thing.
That's true. You know how many are Game of Thrones? Or
No.
the new one, the House of
The House of Dragons.
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess 8 to 10.
8 to 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you been watching that?
I've watched the first episode. I liked it. I plan on watching all of them actually.
Mhm.
But I just haven't gotten to it. That's more of a you never know what you're gonna see, so Gwen can't be around type thing.
Correct. Yes.
So, and I'm usually I'm usually knocked out. If it's a weekday, I'm out by 9:30.
yeah,
I just
you are.
am. And so we never really get to watch that until it's like the weekend where I can stay up a little bit later.
Yeah.
So
We got one episode we need to watch. This week's episode we haven't watched yet. So we watched 2.
have we discussed that yet on this show?
Not yet. Not yet.
Do you like it?
I do.
Yeah.
It's Game of Thrones. So it's Games of Thrones. It's Game of Thrones. You're seeing the political machinations and the going backs and forth. There's more dragons. To me, it's a little derivative right now.
What does that mean?
It seems like they're just kind of rehashing the same story themes as the other seasons of Game of Thrones.
100% agree.
So, I mean, we still have the young girl. We have that she's kind of destined to be queen.
Right.
And there's other people that disagree with that. And so that's making some warring factions.
Right.
And now we've got there's some marrying things. I don't want to ruin it for you, but political marriages, political arrangements.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all that stuff, which it's Game of Thrones. So you have to know that that's the show that's
Right.
going in. There's
Right.
There's already been like unnecessary nudity and sex scenes where you're like, okay, yeah, we get it. You're an HBO show. Like, let's just
I agree.
on from
There's always something like that.
Well, and Game of Thrones, like my oldest started watching Game of Thrones, the originals. Like she just finished the week before school started. She goes, I'm going to start watching Game of Thrones. I'm like, that's a lot to take on a week before school starts.
Right.
So she finished season 1. I forgot about how much just unnecessary TNA is in that show. And even she's like, this is why? Like, why are they doing this? It's because they thought that's what was going to get them the audience.
Right.
I said, by the time you get to season 8, a lot of that is like faded away.
Yeah,
like they've got their solid audience. So I don't really know why they felt the need to do that with House of Dragons. Like we're going to bring back the brothel houses or the pleasure houses and the prostitutes, and we're going to remind
there's always
people.
some guy doing doggy style. There's always one
like
of those
we need to remind people that we can do nudity. I'm like, no, we get it. You don't need to. I mean, and I'm not trying to be a prude. I mean, if it's relevant to the story, that's fine. But a lot of times it's not. And you're just okay.
Okay. I'm going to watch it, but I agree with you in terms of it's just instead of competing houses, instead of the Lannisters and the Starks and the Baratheons and all these other people, now it's just one house and how all their siblings are going to try and take each other down to get the throne.
No. There are other houses like
there are other houses, but it's all about the
you're thinking it's about the uncle and the niece right now, and they've got dragons, and the uncle is who's Matt Smith, who's a great actor in most things except for Morbius. That he plays kind of what I think is going to be our bad guy.
Right. But what I'm saying is I know there's other houses, right?
Right.
But what I'm saying is they even told you in the beginning, in the prologue, they told you that the king knew that the only one that was going to take down this family was going to be the family.
Yeah. This is very much like the fall of the Targaryen.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what this is about. It's about, and you see it falls from inside, not from some outside source.
Right.
It's always the inside.
And this is hundreds of years before the original series. So when people are like, well, does this connect directly to this? No, this is all these people.
There's Baratheon, so you understand where that line's from.
There's the houses that, but, I mean, if you're going back to try to
connect a Stark.
connect, like, is this
Ned.
Ned
Yeah.
Stark's dad? No, this is like his great grandfather. So
Mhm.
this is,
Yeah.
how far back you got to go. Like I said, overall, I see the allure to waiting and just being like, you know what, I'm gonna wait until there's 5 episodes,
And then blitz through it.
blitz through it, watch a bunch, get excited for the last 3 episodes if it's an 8 episode season. I can see the allure to that,
Mhm.
but we're already in it. We're kind of in a show hole anyway when we just don't have a lot to watch. Like, we've spent nights, what do you want to watch? I don't know. Should we look around and try to find something? Oh, okay. And we look around and I talked about The Resort, kind of to shift gears here. It's on Peacock. It's a streaming series, really good. We saw the end of it, and wow, was not expecting that ending.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a story about a couple that they go on vacation. You get the idea like they are having some troubles.
Yeah.
And it is juxtaposed with like, I want to say 12 years. Maybe is it 20? It might be 20 years before another family going on vacation, and kind of they're having some troubles. And then you see, like, 20 years ago, some troubles happening. You see current days, some troubles happening. And then what ends up happening is the couple from today find a lost cell phone from the family from 20 years ago, and that's the mystery. So the couple from today is unraveling the mystery of 2 missing persons from 20 years ago.
Okay.
And the writing was smart, the acting was very good. And then it just takes this the whole time you're waiting for, like, is this going to take some kind of weird supernatural turn? Is that what we're doing? Oh, no, we're not. Okay, we're not. And then it does, and you're like, motherfucker. So it was good. It was a good watch. You could binge it. It would be a good bingeable show.
There's a show I want to see that has I always forget his real name, Michael Scott.
Oh, The Patient.
Yes.
We've watched 2 episodes of that.
Is it good?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I want to watch that. So
very, very good.
Okay. So that's good. All right. So there's some stuff out there that's watchy.
I would say nothing really light and airy and full of life. No feel good comedies.
No,
right now it's just
anymore.
dark shit.
Yeah, there's no. I wonder where that turned. When did that turn? In the 90s? Did that turn in the 90s or the 2000s?
I'd say 2000s.
When we started rooting for the anti-hero.
The late aughts, like right around the Game of Thrones, when that really found an audience.
Was that 2000?
It was probably 2010s, right? Because there's 8 seasons, and we're 2022 right now. Man, so 8 years ago. Flies. So I'd say, yeah, probably around that time, maybe a couple years before. But there's always been an audience for dark shows. Why do you think every CSI and
but that's all
the sex crimes one or whatever, you're just like,
that's all 2000s.
Yeah, it is.
I'm trying to think of, like, in the 80s, it was all about, like, do what's right, drink your milk, take your vitamins, pray to your prayers,
take your vitamins, do your prayers.
Yeah.
The Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, the Hulk Hogan. But like in the 80s, there wasn't a bad guy you rooted for.
Right. And then all of a sudden we started to get shows.
I don't think there was.
No, I can't think of a single show in the 80s where the bad guy was the star.
Even in the movies, you didn't root for Darth Vader. You just thought he was cool.
Yeah, he looked cool, he sounded cool.
Yeah.
But you knew he was a bad guy.
Yeah, and you didn't root for him. You just knew he was cool.
Then all of a sudden we get shows like Hannibal, or even Dexter. Maybe that was the start
Dexter,
of it.
Maybe Dexter did it. Or maybe it was Breaking Bad.
Even Breaking Bad. Part of that was seeing a good man go bad. I mean, that was
right.
The part of the draw.
Right. That was part of the draw. Because the whole time,
Sopranos, rooting for the mob bosses.
Rooting for the mob. Yeah. Yeah. Pitch Black.
With
Vin, rooting for the bad Diesel? Guy. Yeah,
I don't know that he was the bad guy, but that was such a that was like an independent film that made it big.
I don't know. You didn't root for the bad guy in The Shining. You just
No.
wanted to see him.
No. Well, it was Jack Nicholson. You're like, all
Oh
of a sudden you
no,
find out
no,
he's the bad
no!
guy.
You rooted for Jason and Freddy.
I didn't.
You never did.
Not really.
Come
I guess I
on.
rooted for Jason when he fought Freddy, but
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. In that battle, who did you root for? I hated Freddy.
no, he was. I didn't
I was
like
I was I was always a Jason, or I was actually a Michael Myers,
that.
but
Yeah.
Michael Myers I rooted for.
Did you root for him, or did you just want to see like creative kill cam kind of stuff?
Isn't that rooting?
I don't know. I like what we were talking to the kids today about Scream because they haven't watched any of the Scream films.
Okay.
I don't think I rooted for Ghostface.
No. I didn't. I thought the coolest thing about that is that they turned a slasher into a murder mystery. I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
The
that
first
was a
one. The first
decent
one.
mystery. Yeah.
Yeah, the first one. But yeah, I'm trying to. I think for sure I rooted for Michael Myers. I rooted for Jason. Freddy,
Huh.
you just wanted to hear his one-liners. He was like a quip master. He was
I
like,
see that was just also cheesy to me. I just couldn't get behind him.
but that's
You know,
what.
that's
yeah.
what I mean. That's what it was there for. But I mean, you go back
Right.
and watch those now. You're like, this.
Oh,
is
and they're horrendous
terrible.
now.
Like you unwatchable.
Horrendous. I can still watch a Friday the 13th flick though. I can still watch that.
Probably. I guess I haven't tried it in a really long time.
When's the last time you watched the first
Friday-
Halloween? The only one that our
last
friends
year.
that
Last
okay.
year.
And it's
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic. It's
Yeah,
still
it really is.
fantastic.
I still want to like. I read a thing the other day about Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which is, like people hate that
Yeah.
film.
Actually, I
like-
watched it.
They said take off the Halloween moniker,
Yeah, it's
just
not
call
bad.
it Season of the Witch, and then you'll
Yeah.
have a much better experience.
It's not bad.
And I go, okay. But yeah, for the Halloween films, I've watched the first one. Like I didn't really move forward on any of the other ones.
Yeah. The other ones are you can't.
Yeah.
Even the ones with Jamie Lee Curtis when she comes back. I mean, H2O was okay. But the new ones are dumb.
Well, they got a new one coming out this year.
Yes.
And-
Halloween the End. It looks
Yep.
so stupid.
But
What are they doing?
I mean, John Carpenter's back in the saddle, so
No, he's not.
I thought he was. I thought that was the whole deal.
No, that's not. No, that's not. Do you know who that is?
No,
It's Danny McBride doing that shit.
from Tropic Thunder, Danny McBride,
Danny McBride, the dude that was the what was he?
Eastbound and Down. Danny
Yes,
McBride.
that's
Really?
yeah.
Mm.
Him and some other guy got together and presented their like script.
And it got, but did it get John's stamp of approval? John Carpenter's?
I don't know that. I don't know.
Okay. I will research that and see.
Yeah,
See
I don't
what-
know if John was okay with it.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
I can't imagine he would be.
I think it's still his property. I think he still owns the rights to it.
Oh, I don't think he does.
I'm pretty sure he does because
No, some guy named Mustafa Mufasa or something like that owns it.
really. 'Cause
I'm
didn't
not
we-
1,000% sure
I
on
thought
that.
we talked to Sandy about that years
I don't
ago.
think we-
but
Where is Sandy when we need her?
yeah, really.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I feel bad actually. I feel like I can't even bring up Halloween in front of her. Because I feel like everybody brings up Halloween
Well-
in front of her. That's why that's why when she's
Here-
on, all I want to do is talk to her about Halloween. But I feel
But
like
she's not coming on to talk about her husband's project. She's coming on
Right,
to talk
yeah.
about her comic book company, which we also
Right.
want to hear about.
yes.
So that's,
but
she's not coming on to promote his stuff. It would be great to sit down with her and just be like, can we talk about movies and shit? Because
yeah, can we just talk about Halloween, The Fog, and
yeah.
I liked The Fog.
Yeah.
What
no.
it was, I liked it. What was the other? The Thing.
Things are
John
great.
Carpenter's The Thing was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But how the hell did we get here?
I don't know.
We were talking about
We were talking about movie or
we
TV
were talking about
shows
rooting
and-
for the bad guy. When
Rooting for
did
the
that
bad guy.
start? When did that start? When anybody chipping in on when they thought that started?
Well, and Josh had said The Sopranos, and I think that's probably a pretty good starting point.
Okay.
That, as far as a TV series goes, like who do you root for?
yeah.
Because I had brought up Dexter, and I think you know what, I didn't make it real far into Dexter because I'm like, I don't want to root for the bad guys. And then I
I
never
found
watched.
it boring.
I never watched The Sopranos because of that. Like I never even gave it a
You
shot.
didn't watch it because you didn't want to root for a bad guy?
Kind of, yeah. I'm like, they're really, I said,
Really?
well, and I was at a different place where I'm like, they're just glorifying the bad guys. I don't want to watch that. And so I never
Mm,
did. And I've just never gone back and be like, hey, because that was on for what, 10, 12 seasons, something
yeah.
like that. Do you want to, I mean, Kristen, do you want to watch a mom movie about bad guy? And she's like,
I
or both
tried
of them?
watching it.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not good. I didn't get into it.
Yeah.
But I've gotten into like two mob movies ever, and that was Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And there was another mob movie that I watched that I was really into, and I can't even remember what it was. But what I mean by into, I really wanted to see what happened next.
Mhm.
Like I was glued. Like Goodfellas, I was like, whoa, you know.
We really got into this the series. Is it The Deal? Which is it's a TV series. It was on Paramount Plus, and it was all about the filmmakers of The Godfather, like how
That's right. I
they
remember
got
you
that
talking
film.
about this. Yeah.
And there is definitely mob connections to The Godfather, and this is based off of the producer's book. Like the producer of The Godfather was an executive producer about on this series, telling his story about how things got made, and there were mob connections, and so
Yeah.
it was fun to watch that. That was a good series.
It doesn't surprise me. I've heard the mobs have been in Hollywood forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
They've had
yeah.
their fingers in things, and
Yeah.
when they were making a movie about the mob, they really didn't want it made. It was how it, because they thought it painted.
Have you ever watched The Godfather?
Oh yeah,
I've never watched The Godfather.
oh yeah. I've watched 1 and 2. Like I've never brought myself.
I
to watch.
think I actually saw a part in The Godfather when I was way too young, because all I remember is a guy waking up
To the horse
and-
head.
Yes, that's all I remember. And I remember thinking, "Oh my god, what a horrible thing!" And I like ran away. My mom was watching it.
Yeah, I could see that being terrifying as a child.
Yeah, and
it's a good movie. It's not a fast paced movie. So don't look
course
for a
not,
lot.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
look for a lot of action. Don't look for a lot of. It's a great one time watch, I think.
okay.
And watching that series made me want to go back and watch it again.
Okay.
And I've asked
watching
Chris,
The Sopranos or watching that movie
watching The
about
Deal.
The Godfather.
Yeah, watching the show
Okay.
about the production of The Godfather made me want to go back and watch it again.
Okay.
And I've asked Chris, are you interested in watching The Godfather based off of that series? She goes, kind of, but no. And so we just haven't gone back to watch it. So that's going to be one that I'm going to have to like just.
I was going to say, okay, I'm trying to do this in a understanding way, because
I don't watch TV by myself.
Okay, that's what I was going to.
That's really what it comes down to. So the time I have
do you feel you get in trouble if you do? Could you?
I think I could with certain series, like stuff that we're obviously watching together.
Yeah.
If I just blew away and like if the whole series is out and I just went, I'm going to watch this without her. Like, I think that would maybe.
But she can do it, can't she?
Many times has that has happened.
I knew it. I knew it. Ursula's the same way.
And I just go, I'm not going to watch it. She's like, well, we can watch it together. I'm like, no, I don't want to.
No,
you've ruined it for me.
You ruined it. Yes.
But like right now, like my time for like when I have like an hour to myself to watch TV, I'm rarely watching a movie. It's usually me playing some video games, or I'm like prepping for D&D night if I'm running the game.
Okay.
So, so that's kind of where my time goes.
When do kids start overriding what you watch?
Definitely.
What a stupid question. She already overrides what I watch.
Yeah, I mean,
you know how many times I've watched that fucking show? Top Chef Kids. Oh, Master Chef Junior. Oh my God, my daughter is obsessed with that stupid show. and there's a lot of seasons, and I can't imagine what. First off, the dishes these kids pull out,
dude. It doesn't matter how many seasons there are. There could be one episode of that show, and you're just going to be watching it over and over and over again.
Yes, she's obsessed with it. She's like, "Oh, they're in trouble now." And I'm like, "What do you mean they're in trouble?" She's like, "It's raw." I'm like, "What? Like, how do you know it's raw?" You know,
Are there like music cues? Is she picking up on, or is she
it's a
doing
good question. I don't know about that. I think maybe she might be reading the body language of Chef Ramsay
that? Could
because
be.
it's funny. He's still Chef Ramsay, but he has to tone it down.
Oh, he does. He totally has to. Like,
He
he
totally has to tone it down.
can't call a
Yeah,
10-year-old a fucking donut.
yeah. He could. I wouldn't care.
Gonna be a different show for sure.
Yeah.
But
Do you imagine like I can't imagine if I ever was called a donut. I don't think
I
I'd
would
be
start
offended.
laughing. I'd start
Yeah, I
laughing.
wouldn't be offended. I'd be like, did he just
I'm shaped like one. I get it.
is he trying to
So
call me a dumb shit, but he called me a donut? Like that's what I'd do.
I just watched it was a TikTok where this guy pulls celebrity interviews. He's like these are celebrity interviews I think about more than once a week. And it was oh God, Michael Scott. That's all I ever want to call him. Stephen Carell. It's Stephen
Yes.
Carell, and he's on a British talk show with Gordon Ramsay, like they're side by
Okay.
side
Yes.
shirt. And it was Carell's time to talk. He's like, do you guys do like fancy dinners? He's like, are you, like, would you go to a Gordon Ramsay restaurant? And he goes, no. He goes, my palate is not that refined. I'm just not into it. Like, we are very plain people when it comes to eating. He's like, but surely you must have
Steve Carell.
Stephen
Okay.
Carell saying this, what him and his wife, like they go to Red Robin. I mean,
Right.
that's kind of like their night out kind of thing. And he's like, he's like, yeah, we've been to places where he's like, one, they were asking Gordon Ramsay, like, what's the most expensive thing you've seen come through one of your restaurants? He's like, yeah, we had
Yes.
some bankers come in and they had like eight or nine bottles of wine. Each bottle of wine was like $15,000,
Oh,
and it was that kind of thing. It was that kind of meal that he was putting up. He's like, and then he's like, so they have in total like $55,000 of drinks and food, and then they top it off at the night with like a couple beers. And he's like, it just didn't make sense. And he's like chastising these finance people or these bankers
Yes.
that just like,
Yeah.
he's like, it didn't make sense. And they asked Stephen Carell, would you do stuff like that? He's like, I can't imagine spending that amount of money on anything I'm going to eat and just pass through my body later. Like that just doesn't.
Well, it kind of makes sense with him because what would you guess when he actually finally hit it big? He was 40 years old.
Oh yeah, like
so he developed these.
He's got a
great
story of him becoming like a sought after actor.
He's developed these habits, and it's like, I don't need to spend money. Like when you're 40 years old, you have more of a financially secure understanding of the world. And like, this hamburger is $18.99. The same hamburger is $5.99 here.
Right.
Yeah.
So the talk show host is like, you've obviously must have done, like someone's treated you to something, or the studio, or you and your wife had just said, we're going to make it night. He's like, yeah, we went to a place in San Francisco. He's like, and it was like this 8-course meal. He's like, I couldn't, like, everything, like the plateware, like none of the plates matched. Like, you guys couldn't go shopping at the same place to get matching plates. He's like, all the plates were different. And he's like, you get like one course that comes out on a tiny plate and it's like spilling over the plate. And then you get the main course, which is on this giant platter. And then is like this little bit. So Gordon Ramsay's just cracking up the whole time.
Yeah.
And he's like, and there was like, everybody was very into like these foams, like some kind of duck foam. He's like, I don't know what it was. It was like this slimy mess. I didn't like it. He's like, and I'm literally paying like thousands of dollars for this meal. And he's like, and I just hated every minute of it. And Ramsay's just cracking up.
You know, I always wonder about that. Like, how do you get to the point where you can charge somebody $18.99 for your hamburger? Like,
I don't know.
How do you get to that point? And like, or how do you get to a point where you sit there and say, I'm going to make this, or like, I know there's restaurants out there where you pay like $500 up front before you even go in there. And he's not going to tell you what the dinner is. It's whatever he feels like it is that day.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get to that point?
This is an interesting conversation. We should, because Chef Chris wants to come back on because he's got some new ventures that he's working on.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe we should have him back on again.
We should.
That's a great question to ask him. Because, I mean, for me, going out to like a nice restaurant, and the nicest restaurants I go out to now are like maybe a Wisconsin-based steakhouse kind of deal.
Okay.
And going out to a steakhouse, it better be superior to what I can make at home.
Yeah.
And whatever my skill level is in my life, like if I'm paying a large amount, for me, what is a large amount of money to be able to eat at your place, you better be a hell of a lot better than me.
Yes.
And if you're not worth the money for me.
Yeah.
Like,
there's nothing worse than actually biting into something and you're like, oh shit, I can make this better at home.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
that happened to me today. I had we went to a place. I'm not going to name the restaurant. We went to a place today and I asked, and I was in the mood for like a buffalo chicken wrap,
yeah.
you know? And so, you know me, Greg, I will rarely eat something like that. So when I do eat something like that, I'm expecting to get blown away. And I thought, and I just bit into it. I was like, I actually think I could make a better one. And Ursula like tried it and she's like, oh no, you could. I'm like, fuck, like that sucks. Like,
there's nothing worse than going to a restaurant than knowing you could do better.
Yeah.
My last birthday, we went out to a steakhouse, kind of a not real local, but local enough. And it was, I mean, the steak, it just came out. And I know that I was paying like 70, $80 for this steak potato.
Yeah.
And the steak was, one, not cooked to my specifications. And that right away, I was going, motherfucker. Like, it was just too rare for me. And
is the Wagyu still the number one thing?
I would assume so. Yeah. I mean, I've never.
No, you tell me.
Like, the American Wagyu that I had.
Are you comparing everything to that?
Partially, yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, no, I was curious because I know. Go ahead.
I know I can't do that at home. Like, I've never been able to hit that level of steak. This one came out. I'm like, I could go to the local meat market a mile from my house,
or just go in the back and cook it. Right.
Grab a steak, put it on my smoker for 2 hours, then do a reverse sear on a grill. It's going to kick the pants out of this thing.
What the hell is a reverse grill?
A reverse sear. So you cook it, like you season it and you cook it. And some guys do it in an oven. You know, it's your choice if you want to do that.
And then happens before and then it goes in the oven.
So it's pretty much cooked. It's cooked to your preferred cook.
Yeah.
For me, it's medium well. Oh, no, I'm sorry, medium rare. So you get to that level and then you want to get that like crust on the outside, right? You want to get a little bit of that saltiness where it's just not burnt, but it's a little crispy.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And some people do that through cast iron and then they just keep basting the hell out of it. Some people put it on like just a charcoal type grill, like 2 to 3 minutes per side, and then you're golden. And I did that. I mean, that's what I did last time I made steaks at home, which has been a while, but it turned out fantastic. And then I go to the steakhouse, and for me, paying a lot for a steak, and it was just like, I don't know, it wasn't a great experience. I mean, the steak wasn't great. It was fine. That's all it was. It was just fine.
Yeah.
And like the potato, like I said, I would like a loaded baked potato.
Right.
Which to me, the baked potato is there. They've prepped it, and then you can just dig in and eat it. This was a baked potato still wrapped in the foil with a sour cream packet and a little bowl of cheese that they put on the side. And I was like, so this is like a potato bar. And I'm like, can I get some chives? Can I get some bacon bits? Can I get some like other stuff that would make for me this a loaded baked potato? And she came out with like a little thing of chives. The bacon bits were like soy, like Bacos. And I was like, no. Yeah, it was a sad.
Do you remember back? I think it was when we were in high school, like baked potato. That was like a thing. Like,
oh yeah,
to have like all different types of ways to have like some
Yep.
people put like broccoli and cheese on it,
Uh-huh.
and like then there's the loaded one and the twice baked. And I remember that there used to be a place in the mall where you could get a baked potato,
No, yeah. It was a food court kind of
the
thing.
great yeah, the
Like,
great
yeah.
baked potato or something like
Yeah.
or the great potato. Yeah, isn't that weird? Now it's like gone. Why? I think it's because everybody says carbs are evil.
Yeah. Yeah. But I've for the last couple, especially this last year, I've swung the other way, and that I will eat more, sides. I mean, not necessarily like
Oh, really?
a lot of veggies, more than I will like tonight. We had just burgers on the grill, and we had some corn on the cob and stuff like that. And I took 2 bites out of my burger, and I went, I don't want any more of that, and I just ate corn. Um, yeah, like I'm very much not as much as a meat eater as I used to be.
Oh,
Yeah. So I don't know what's
that's true.
happening. I don't know what's happening in my mid 40s, but I'm just kind of making another swing.
Isn't that weird how your body just starts changing?
It is.
Like
It
you're
is.
just all of a sudden like, yeah, I don't want that anymore.
But at the same time, I mean, everything fits much looser because I'm just not
Yeah.
eating the vast amounts of protein that I used to.
No, that's a fallacy, my friend.
Well, whatever it is, I'm not eating as much as I used to. Let's say that.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
You're just not. And probably you're not pounding down. What would you? I mean, honestly, you used to pound down it. How many cans of Mountain Dew would you finish in a day?
Holy shit. Yeah. I did the math on that a couple of years ago. Like,
Yeah.
I was right before I went through that major change where I'm like, oh, I had like these big World of Warcraft cups that I got years ago at my very first Gen Con, and they fit 2 cans of soda with some
Okay.
ice.
Okay.
And I would put 2 cans of Mountain Dew in there.
Yeah.
And I would do that twice a night.
So
there's
4 cans a
so
night.
there's 4.
Right.
But then in my cubicle at work, I would have a case there, and I was
a case.
Yeah, I'd have a 24 pack in my cubicle.
Oh, okay. I thought you went through a case. Sorry.
Oh no,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
But I bet I was doing 3 or 4 a day at my desk.
Wow. And then another 4.
I would do like one in the morning. I would do one with lunch, and then I'd probably do another one around 2 in the afternoon
Holy shit.
and then I would do 4 at home. So I was having 8 to 10. I would say.
For how long? How long?
I don't know.
You scared me.
Too damn long. I can tell you that.
Holy
And
cow.
I just thought it was normal. Like,
yeah, I'm with you, because when I remember when I was 8, it wouldn't be unheard of for me to finish a 12 pack. That's when 12 packs became popular, right?
Yeah.
Of Pepsi. Easy.
Yeah.
I remember I drank so much Pepsi one day, my teeth hurt.
Yeah. I was just so blind to it. Like, even when you and I were living together in college, and you would say I would drink so much soda, I'm like, it's not that much. I know people that drink more soda than me. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah. No, I know.
And I remember that Texas trip that you were supposed to come on with me that you didn't. So, but I remember being down at my friend's place, and she was talking to her husband about my dad. And she was like, I would see him drink like so much Mountain Dew in a day. Like, she's like, because dad was drinking out of bottles or something like that, like the
liters.
Not the
twist off, just the
just they're not they're maybe 24-ounce bottles or something like that. I mean, they weren't like the 2-liter bottles, but she's like, I would see him go through 2 or 3 of those a day. And I remember thinking, well, that's not that much. And she was shocked, but I'm like, well, they're very foodie fit people. Like, they don't have a TV in their house because they want to have a certain type of lifestyle. And I was like, well, that's them. That's what they think. And and then all of a sudden, hey, you have a real soda addiction that we need to talk about. I was like, really? Isn't that bad? Oh yeah, that's that bad. So
but no, you're right. There was a time though, I remember I would wake up in the morning, have coffee. Then I would go to Starbucks to get a coffee. Then at lunch, I'd get a coffee at Starbucks. And then at night before my day was done, I'd get another coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was times I was pounding down like 4 to 5 cups of coffee a day.
In those Mountain Dews in the morning, or soda in the morning. Sometimes
Yes.
it's Pepsi, sometimes
Yes.
Mountain Dew. I would justify, because I'm like, well, I don't want to drink. Like, I've never been a hot drink guy.
Okay.
I'll do tea every once in a while in the morning, but I fool myself into liking coffee, and it turns out I just really like creamer. But then I was like, I would make coffee.
Yeah.
And I would put a shit ton of sugar in it and then creamer to make a dessert coffee.
Yes.
And then I would drink that. And I'm like, you know what? I bet. And I did, again, for some reason, did the math on it and went, well, my soda has less sugar than I'm putting in the coffee. So I'll just drink the soda then. And that became what I was drinking going in. And I was like, it ain't good.
Yeah.
We have a question online.
Sure.
We're going to shift gears here away from my soda addiction. Thanks for
go ahead
bringing that up. It says, Johnny, Bears are moving to Arlington Heights. What are your thoughts?
Comes
from Josh.
They are. Thank you for your question. I'm ecstatic. I think they need to. They don't. I don't know the exact specifics of this, but I do know that every game they have at Soldiers Field, they only get maybe a half of that instead of a whole of that.
That was a big, when you told me that, I thought Soldier Field was the Bears field.
Yeah, no,
it is
the park
not.
districts. Yeah, nope. It's the parks. We absolutely need it. I'm ecstatic because I could literally.
You could Uber to the game.
Well, yeah, I could Uber to it. I could bike to it. And if I was really frisky, I could walk to it. So I'm ecstatic about it being that close. In fact, they're doing a town hall meeting in a high school around where I live this Thursday to show the plans and show you going? No, I don't think I can remote. I think everybody's going to be there.
Really?
Okay. And I think there's going to be some people. I would imagine there have to be some people in Arlington Heights that are pissed off about it.
I would think so. I mean, where they're building it is the old Greyhound racetrack, right?
Arlington Heights racetrack. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they bought that entire property.
Yeah.
It's vast. I had no idea how much it is. It's a humongous property.
And I bet they're going to end up buying properties around there to do like what Green Bay has done in Titletown, they call it, which is
pretty much guarantee
hotels, restaurants. I mean, some people will be mad, but it's going to bring a lot of money into that area.
It's going to, I think they partnered with I think Rivers Casino. So I'd be shocked if there wasn't a casino there. I'd be shocked if they didn't put up a casino there because they have the room.
Yeah. Well, they've been talking about that for that space for a while. It was a casino there, right?
No. If they did, I don't know about that, but
maybe I'm thinking because you know what, I'm thinking of the dog track that actually is in Wisconsin, right around the border. There's been a casino trying to go in there for a while.
Thought I wrote it down. It was on a Twitter feed somewhere with Chicago Bears because that town hall meeting, the way that they describe what it's going to be. See, that town hall meeting comes up here, and they do a lot of posts here. Shit, I already lost it. The 53-man roster. Blah, 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 blah. Our president retired, is going to retire, which was super happy. I was super happy about that.
I heard about some people floating a name for his replacement.
Yeah, no,
you don't think Peyton Manning?
You talking about Peyton Manning?
Yeah.
No. The reason I don't want Peyton Manning there, do you know who Jim Bob Cooter is?
Heard that name.
Okay. He was the offensive coordinator for the Lions.
Yeah.
Okay. Peyton Manning says that man's a genius and he should be a head coach. So that's a decision that he would make.
Oh, okay.
That sucks. I think he's great as a quarterback. I think he's great as an on TV personality. I don't need him making football decisions. No. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. If he was that great, he would have been somewhere already.
That's true.
If he wants to buy the Bears, I'm cool with that. But
he's already, I mean, he's a big business guy. He's got his hands in a bunch of stuff.
In a ton of stuff.
Like the not Papa Murphy, Papa John's Pizza. The reason he's in all their commercials is he's like their number 2 shareholder.
Oh yeah, you're right. He has a ton of shit.
A ton of money into that.
Yeah, he's that's right. I totally forgot about that. He is I'm trying to there it is. Maybe it's in
Josh responds with all these modern stadium districts are really trying to bring non-football stuff to their stadium, something for everyone.
Yes,
and that's true.
And that's I think that's what the Bears are actually trying to do. I'm trying to find that thing because
even the
wording
Packers,
they used
to go out the Packers, they held their first soccer game in Lambeau Field this
year.
Oh,
really?
And it looked packed, like packed, like as much as maybe not as much as like an actual NFL game.
Yeah,
but the stands looked very full from the shots that I saw.
Okay,
which I think is great. I think Americans need to know that soccer is the largest sport in the world.
Oh, get off your soccer kick. If that show never came on, you wouldn't have given a shit about soccer.
But it did come on, and
but you're falling in love with a character, not the actual game.
No, I've always respected the game. We've never really talked about it.
There's no doubt that's a game to respect. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love it in the same way that I would watch hockey. Like I find hockey to be an interesting game. I don't watch it a lot because I don't have anybody to share hockey with, like, I don't have a team to latch onto. Like Wisconsin's got the Admirals, but that's almost like whatever the league is, they're not like true professional. Like they won't play the Blackhawks or anything like that. So the closest team is the Blackhawks, and it's still too far away from me. Like I'm just like I'm not going to get into the Blackhawks hockey. So,
I get into hockey. I get into hockey during the playoffs. Other than that, I don't give a shit about. Like I can't watch 82 games of hockey.
There's a lot of games of hockey.
I'm at the point where I'm almost thinking that they're going to start doing too much football. I'm not happy about 17 games.
Yeah,
I'm not.
So the TV show you were talking about was Ted Lasso, which is a great show.
Yes.
Have you watched any of the Wrexham? Welcome to Wrexham with Ryan McElhenney?
No, I knew you'd be all
Ryan
about
Reynolds
because you're all about soccer lately.
I watched one episode, really good, like the documentary style, and you Wrexham seems almost like a Green Bay kind of town. Like McElhenney comes from Philadelphia, I think.
Yes.
So he compares it to Philadelphia. It's, an old school industrial town that their soccer team has just fallen on hard times. And the ranking system in soccer, which blows my mind, is like there are different soccer leagues. So if you're in the Premier League, you're at the top, right?
Yep.
But you can be regulated to lower leagues, down to where you get to the bottom of the pyramid, and it's like our AAA, or not even AAA, like below that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And these guys are one rung away from being considered professional soccer players, football players.
Okay.
But you go back to the 50s, and Wrexham was the team. They were the Manchester Uniteds. They were the other London team I can't think of.
The All Blacks?
No.
Or is that a rugby? Is that
starts with a C? I think All Blacks for rugby. I want to say it's like Clearwater. Is that the name? I can't remember. But they were at the top of the heap, and now they're like below the heap.
Right.
And so then here are two Hollywood guys that are going to try to come in and more or less pull like a New England Patriots or Yankees or whatever, and just throw enough money at a team to get better players. And that was kind of my initial take on it after watching one episode, is like but it's a team.
Well, they're doing the documentary to do it. I mean, that's the reason for it.
It's a team that's owned by the town, more or less.
Okay.
So like
I thought they own it now. I thought they own it.
They had to vote to let these guys come in and be a part of the team. Like there was
I
still
see.
a controlling board and like voting members. So a little bit like the Packers, I think, in that respect.
They won't let any other town do that, by the way, in the professional sports.
I can see why. I mean, because owners want their billions of dollars that flow through.
Yeah. But even if the NFL got something from like, I don't know, Des Moines, Iowa, where they were like, hey, we want our own team and the community is going to pay for it. They reject that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't understand that, but
control. I mean, I believe it's about control.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Packer fans, anybody listening out there, maybe Greg, you might know this. You guys were established in 1919. Was there even a football league in 1919, or did you guys just create a football team that didn't play anybody?
Well, it was. I
know the Bears were established in 1920.
Right. It took a lot of from what I understand, like they had to call around and be like, do you guys have a football team? It was like whoever their athletic director was just making calls trying to find somebody to play until like a different league was formed. The American Football League, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And they played in that AFL league until not the AFL. They played in whatever league was formed. And then eventually the NFL was created as that controlling body for all these other leagues to say, you're now a part of the NFL. And that's where it started to come together. But
yeah, I was just curious because I saw a shirt that says established 1919. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Like, well, and even like the 100 years thing kind of came and went. Like it wasn't like 1999. It was more like, so Josh, again, who was, by the way, a huge Packer fan, if my memery serves correctly, he said it was more like a rec league back then. It was like, if you were part of the Green Bay Packers, it was because they were the Acme Packers for the Acme packing company. Yep. I don't know if you had to work for the company to be on the team, but it was like that was just the team sponsor and you could sign up and play.
When they were doing the 100 years of the NFL, they did and they had the Packers versus the Bears on Monday night. They did a great historical, like 15-minute thing about it.
Like it was retrospective.
Really cool. It was like two guys. I think it was Josh, let me know if I'm wrong. It was the guy that was in charge of the Acme Packer packing company.
Yeah.
His like assistant or something. He put him in charge of, hey, get this football team up and running.
Yeah.
And he called up George Hallis and they were like, hey, let's play or something like that. And that's where it started, something like that. It was really interesting how they broke it down because, of course, ESPN, they did a good job presenting it to you. So I gotta watch that again. It was really cool how they started it and how it was like nothing. It was like,
is there any other football team or where teams were, well, I suppose the California teams that are as close geographically?
Geographically?
Yeah, Absolutely, Green Bay and Chicago.
Yeah. But there probably every Florida team.
Yeah.
It was like three teams.
Miami, Tampa.
Yeah. I know the Packer Bear thing is it's the oldest NFL rivalry. Like we've played the most games against each other. We are also number 1 and number 2 all-time winnings because we've been in the league the longest.
Yeah.
I know you're 1 victory away
from
tying us for the all-time win and then going above it.
Oh, is that it?
Okay. Yeah. So you'll probably get it this year.
Maybe.
No, could definitely. Happen. You're definitely going to get it this year, if not the first 3 games. But I don't know if I answered Josh's question or not, but yeah, I'm absolutely ecstatic for it. And when I say fuck Chicago, I mean mostly fuck the mayor.
Yeah. There's a lot of politics involved with that. What do you think is going to happen to Soldier Field when Bears?
I heard they're going to bring in another NFL team.
No, really?
Like they're going to create another AFC team, which I don't think they're going to do that.
That would be interesting.
Because that's right. What they wanted to do was say Chicago owns that one. What they wanted to do was make that a Chicago run team. So not an owner,
right?
The city of Chicago. And I think the NFL was like, no, you can't do that. So It's really her fault. I remember when they were talking about the Bears leaving, which first off, they should have done this 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I know they want to get a Super Bowl to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
They want to bring a Super Bowl here, and the only way they're going to do that is whatever they build at
At Arlington.
At Arlington. By the way, if for anybody out there who ever sits there and says you can't call them the Chicago Bears anymore,
Whatever.
no, it's not whatever. Like that. That's so not true. The Dallas Cowboys don't play in Dallas.
No, they don't.
They play in Irving, Texas. The New York Football Giants and the Jets, they play in New Jersey.
Uh-huh.
Like, and I can keep going on.
Right.
San Francisco plays in Santa Clara. They don't even play in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, you guys get over yourselves with that whole thing. You can't call it's going to be the Chicago Bears the rest of its existence. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, Lightfoot. Somebody said, "Hey, what do you think about the Bears thinking of leaving?" And she goes, she thought it was a ploy to get the park district to pay more money or make the stadium better. And she goes, they should quit with their little ploys and quit worrying about their field and worry about beating the Packers every once in a while. Right.
Okay.
So she ripped on them. And then when they found out that they bought the thing to Arlington, she's like, "Whoa, we were kidding. We'll do anything you want. What do you need?" You know? And they're like, "No, sorry, too late.
We're done."
Yeah. But anyway.
Well, Josh likes the idea of two Chicago teams. I just heard that. I just found out that could be a thing. And I don't know. I think that would be interesting to see if another team.
I would probably root for both.
I would be interested because it's nothing that I've been close enough to witness is the forming of another NFL team. Not like we're one, but I didn't follow.
Okay.
And not one that just like picked up and moved to another city. We're talking about like we're going to form a new NFL entity.
Well, yeah, that's what Carolina and Jacksonville did.
Yeah, but I didn't pay attention when Carolina and Jacksonville did that.
I see. Okay.
So it's happened. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but
right.
I was not enough of a sports fan at that point to be like,
pay attention to what's that.
Let's looking what's happening in the southern part of the country. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it's going to happen. I think that's bullshit. I think they're panicking because they don't know what to do because the Bears bring revenue, obviously, and they have nothing to fill that revenue after they leave.
Well, I mean, I know they play soccer there.
Yeah. And they can host. I think they hosted Notre Dame in Wisconsin a couple of years ago.
They did.
Maybe that was last year. Maybe it was last year.
There was a game at Soldier Field.
Yeah, so they can just start hosting college games there because no one's going to be there on Sundays. Anyway,
get Northwestern to play there, or do they already play there?
No, have you haven't gone to a Northwestern?
No, I've never been to a Northwestern. You said it was kind of like going to a Whitewater game, though.
Yeah, I'm shocked actually because the guy that owns that field, it's called Ryan Field. It's Pat Ryan, and Pat Ryan's like a major billionaire in Chicago. He actually owns, I don't know how you call this. He owns the next amount of shares to the Chicago Bears. So if the McCaskies want to sell, they have to approach Ryan first to say, do you want it? Because we're selling it. And he has like,
so many months to pull
he
together
gets first
deal.
dibs. But he's like 81 now. But anyway, but yeah, that Northwestern, it's you'd be shocked walking through it. You're like, really? Like
this is a major college?
Like this is Northwestern where they like the Badgers are coming to play here for real? Like here?
How do you get fit all those people in there?
It's really eye-opening, and I'm shocked that billionaire hasn't made that, because Northwestern, I think for the last decade, they win like
they're a decent team,
8 to 10 games every year, and they're not playing shitty competition. They're in the Big Ten. They're playing. They just went to Ireland and beat Nebraska. Yeah. So I should take you to a game because they're cheap too. They're cheap.
That's what you said. We were thinking about doing that last year.
It's like $16 to just walk in there, and
well,
maybe I'll check. I don't know if the Badgers play Northwestern at Northwestern this year, but I bet you we can get tickets. It's not hard.
I would bet the Wisconsin fans have probably chewed up those tickets already. But
no, they always seem to be available.
I can look that up later.
Yeah,
But all right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we are.
I'll be way past.
It's 20 after 10. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. All right, Greg. Sign us out, sir.
You know what? In the world of craziness, don't be a douche.
That's it. So for the Greg, this is Johnny saying podcast out. Everybody, thank you very much. Have fun. Be young. Go Bears.
Okay.
Okay.